Hi everybody, welcome. My name is Tammy from Homesteading in the City with Tammy. If you are new here, thanks for stopping by and watching my video. If you've been here from the beginning, I really appreciate you coming by each week and watching the new video that I put out. This week's video, we're going to be in my garden again. I'm going to do a garden tour. We'll show you what is started from the seeds that we started earlier, what's growing, and then I'll show you what I've planted for the season this year. If that's something that interests you, stick around. I will tell you one thing, when people don't realize this, when they plant tomato plants, you're supposed to plant them up to the first real leaf on there. So these are the baby leaves that start out when they first sprout. You're supposed to bury them in the ground up to this leaf. This will allow this to have a nice big root. So you want to make like an oblong hole so that you can put this sideways in there. You know, and you want to separate your roots a little bit, you know, loosen them out a little bit so that they can grow, but you want to not break it but bend it so that it is going up sideways when you plant that, so that all of this here will be rooted in the ground and it'll have a nice sturdy base. A lot of people plant them only up to this one and then they get real top heavy and you know they don't last, they tip over. So if you can get them up to this here, it allows them to get a really good base and a really good root system that your tomato plant will get really big. From what I'm seeing with after putting my weed fabric down, it sure does look like it had killed the grass that was all through here. So I don't know if you can see that down there. There is no grass. It looks like it might have killed it all. I'm hoping it really did work. But so far every hole has been just dirt that I'm digging into. No grass, nothing green under there, so hopefully that did work. Okay, so here are my onions that I have in my that I planted about 4 weeks ago. So they're doing actually really good, coming out of the ground pretty good. So my onions are doing very well. Both pots of them, every one that I put in, except one. I have one here that just did not make it. So I have another start I'll put in there and it'll just be a later onion. So I got to get that going. Excuse the noise, the neighbors got their shed door open and it's just banging constantly. And then here's my pot of radishes that I have. They're doing actually pretty good. They're starting to form a second leaf on them, so they'll start producing some fruit in there. So those are looking pretty good. I'm excited about that. Let's go look at the other ones. Okay, so here's the other pot of radishes. Now they're on two different sides of the garden. So this side apparently really likes where the radishes are on this side. For right now, they're doing really good over on this side. My other pot of beets, they're there. They're starting to come up. So they really like the cold, but it'll take them a little bit to start growing. But they're there. They're starting. And then my carrots. Can you see the little sprigs of carrots that are in there? Those are starting to grow too. And my lettuce in my tubs is doing okay. Hopefully it'll start getting a little thicker and it'll warm up and I'll be able to put it, I put it in a pot or just put holes in the ground and put it that way. I haven't decided what I'm going to do. I might just do a pot of lettuce so that it keeps the bunnies from getting into it and it keeps the slugs off of it because they're not coming out of the ground. The other thing, my greenhouse here that I have, these ones in the greenhouse, I've got some in that start there. Didn't germinate real well. I've had to repot my other ones again, and nothing is coming up. So I don't know what's going on with, I got one little sprout right there. Maybe I will get something. It might be starting, you know, it might have taken, I repotted them last week, but I got 3 that I had repotted. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. This is herbs and I think it's just herbs, parsley, cilantro, and basil that I planted, just trying to get some herbs to grow. So we'll keep you posted on that, but so far not too much growth inside of there. Well, this is one of the other herbs that I started planting, and I had to plant it a second time, and I finally got some growth out of this one in this pot here. So that's good to know that I think, I can't even remember, I think this might be thyme that I planted in here. Not really sure. I'll have to wait till it comes up. Didn't label. I'm really bad at labeling stuff to know what it is. I figure, oh, I'll remember what I planted in there, and I don't. So it's either parsley or thyme that I put in here. But I do know that's a thyme plant from last year, and they are supposed to come up, but there doesn't look like there's any life left in that. So we'll see. I was just hoping that it would come back, but I don't think it's going to. Okay, one of the things I'm going to do today is I'm going to make some compost tea, and that is just taking my coffee grounds, which I put in the bottom of it, and they say 2 cups of coffee grounds for about 5 gallons of water. I have this kitty litter bucket that is almost 5 gallons of water. So I'm going to use that. I'm just going to use the water that I've saved, and I'm going to put this over here, and that way when I plant my vegetables and stuff, I can give them a drink with this, as also with fertilizing them. So this will give them a double start for growing once I put everything in the ground. These are the plants that I just went to the greenhouse, or the store, and got at the greenhouse. I got my peppers and my tomatoes. Those are usually the only things that I buy at the greenhouse, is just the peppers and tomatoes. I don't have really good luck starting them. As you can tell, my greenhouse isn't really working to start anything. I can't even start herbs in my greenhouse. So I figure, you know, I'm just gonna support my local greenhouse and buy from them. I've been buying from them for probably 10 years, and I've had really good luck with everything that I've bought from them. So I just got them outside today. It's a little windy, cooler, but I want to hardy them up so that I'm able to plant them on Sunday or Monday. We're supposed to have some nice weather here, but I want to be able to make sure I can get them in the ground. So I want to make sure that they're hardy. So I'll put them out here. They've been in a greenhouse that has air going through them, so they are hardied off some, but I'm not sure they're hardied off, nighttime hardy off. So I want to make sure that I can plant them in the ground and not have to worry about them at night once I put them in the ground. Well, everybody, I'm back out in the garden, and I'm going to get everything planted here. I'm going to show you what some of the peppers that I got. I wanted to, when I was at the greenhouse the other day, I wanted to show you what peppers we had and tomatoes I had to pick from, and how I go about selecting my vegetables from the greenhouse. But on the way out to the greenhouse, we lost the brakes in our vehicle, so it was not on my mind to film while I was out there. So we're home. We got safe home. Nothing to be concerned about. But I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about the plants that we have. I usually get just my peppers and my tomatoes at this greenhouse. I've had really good luck with their peppers and their tomatoes. And this year I'm trying a new pepper. This is a Keystone Giant pepper. It is supposed to be like a red or an orange, I think a red or an orange large pepper. So I usually get 2 of each variety that I am trying to grow so that they can germinate and really get some good growth in them. Some of the tomatoes that I got, these ones happen to be Heinz 57. They're a paste tomato. I got these last year, and they are a really good flavorful tomato. They don't get real big, but they seem to be really good flavored. And the other ones that I got is Alpaca. Those are a paste tomato as well. They get to be rather large, and we like those because mainly I do sauce and salsa and stuff with them, so we really don't want a really runny tomato. And I get a couple of cherry tomatoes that I put in pots that we use for eating in salads and stuff like that, so I have those. But those, and then I got what's this one over here, is a sand, this is a new one. It's a sand Marzanato tomato. This was another kind of a paste tomato that I got. So I got those 3 brands of tomatoes that I will put in the garden for paste tomatoes. And then my peppers, I got another, like a yummy sweet. This is a real sweet pepper, a bell pepper that'll get nice and big and sweet. I try to go for colored peppers when I buy my peppers, because if you pick them, if they're a colored pepper, they tend to be a little sweeter when you pick them early. I sometimes have a problem, and maybe I won't this year, but I have a problem with pests bugs that will get into my peppers, and I don't, I can't get them to get really big, so I pull them when they're smaller. And this is a new one. It's an early sensation pepper. This is an early pepper that will get some peppers earlier than, I think this is like a 50-day pepper, and we'll get some peppers, where some of the other ones were 78 days. So we tried an earlier pepper, and I get 2 of everything, like I said, so that I can have that to help germinate each other. But I won't bore you with digging a hole and putting them in the ground. With weed fabric, I do have to show you, I have to use a little benzene torch to make my hole. And then just put the pepper in the hole, and then I will water everything really good with my fish emulsion. The other thing I wanted to show you is my barrels for water. We have had so much rain lately that I've got all 8 of my barrels here on the back of my garage. To show you this way, because I can't with the other way of the video. All of those 8 barrels are completely full. This one's over full. So I'm gonna have to get my pumper hose out and pump them into the ones on the back of the shed, because if we get any more rain, I'm gonna be losing water, and those ones are not full. So I wanna make sure I can get some water there. And the ones on the side and the front of my house are definitely full. Those will be the first ones I will use for making my fish compost, fish tea that I use for when I water. I will use out of those to drain some of that water out. But right now, nothing really needs to be watered. I just have to water once I put them in the ground. Probably I'll have to water more this year with using the fabric cloth, the weed fabric, that it's just not, we're not seeing the water. It does go through it, but I don't know how well it's going to go through it. So I'm just going to have to watch on that. Okay, I told you guys I would show you my pump situation. I actually have it running right now. It's into the very first barrel on the back to pump out, and I've got my hose, and it is pumping into the top of this barrel. And I don't know if you can see. It's hard to see the water jumping. There you can a little bit see the water jumping, that it's going in there. I decided to pick that barrel because once that one gets full, it will fill the other 2 on either side of it. That way, well, 3, and it'll fill them all full, and I won't have to worry about reconnecting and unconnecting it, because my bung is in here, so it'll force the water to go back to the other barrels. But that's how I pump my water from these barrels here on this back of the garage to these ones here. Kinda neat. Well, I'll be snookered. I opened the greenhouse because I thought I lost everything in here, and don't you know, I got some cucumber seeds coming up. Well, I was just gonna go plant them in the garden. Well, isn't this kind of cool? So I guess maybe I'll miss them again, and apparently the greenhouse was way too hot for these little buggers. I opened it up, and it's been open and flapping in the breeze for 2 days, and now I get seeds starting in that thing. Well, maybe I'm not so bad at greenhouses. Who knows? Well, everybody, that's it for this week's video on the garden tour. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing and hit the notifications and the thumbs up button. And as always, I will see you on the next one. Have a good week. Bye.